So push adds one or more elements to the end of an array. So what this does is it adds a new element into the array, but unlike before where we were replacing the value of banana with orange, we just want to add a new value inside of our existing array. So what we're doing here is we have an array and we want to add in pineapple. So you use the dot push method, and what this does is it adds another value into our array. As you can see, we have apple, banana, and mango, but we also have pineapple now. So that is adding this to the end of our array, not front or in between somewhere. So that's how push works. Let's go to pop, and this is similar to what push does, but instead of adding a value, this removes a value, and what it does is it removes the last element of the array, which is this. So if I ran this 2 times, let's say, it will remove 2 values now, which is first this one and then this one. Okay, and it always removes the last one. So let's go to the next example, which is shift removes the first element of an array, and pop removes the last element of the array, but shift removes the first one. Okay, so you need to remember that. That's the difference between pop and shift. And as you can see, the value apple is removed. Okay, so let's go into unshift. So what unshift does is adds one or more elements to the beginning of an array. Okay, so if you want to add any values but to the beginning of the array, you use unshift, because push ends up adding values to the end of the array. Unshift adds values to the front of the array. And as you can see, I'm adding strawberry to the front of the array, and then it's apple, banana. So it's adding it here. Okay, so that's unshift. Let's go into splice. Okay, so this is a little confusing sometimes, so you need to understand this one. So what does this do? So it adds and removes elements from an array. So how this works is splice has a starting value, okay, and it has a delete count. So what this does is, if I do 1 here, right, this is where the value 1 is, and it's adding grapes there, but I'm adding a 1, and this can be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So what this does is I'm telling it from this place, add this and delete 1 value. Okay, so what this does is I'm actually going to do 0 first to show you something. And that is, if you see now, it's apple, banana, and mango, right? So what's happening here is it's apple, grapes, banana, and mango. So this is the first index. Okay, so I'm saying is, from this first index, add grapes. So it's added grapes and moved everything else forward. So this is now second instead of first, and it's added grapes to the first index and then moved everything else forward, which is now making this the second and third index. But if I end up adding, let's say 1, okay, now you will see, actually let me just do this 2 times to give you a better understanding of what is happening. So what's happening here is that I'm saying at the first index, which is this, add grapes and delete nothing. Okay, so this is the first index now, and grapes is added to that, and everything else is moved forward. But in this one, I'm saying at the first index, add grapes just like this one, but remove one value that is in front of the first index, which has removed banana, and you can see the result here. If I do 2, it will remove mango as well. See, now it's removed 2 values that were in front of the first index. So that's how splice works. It adds and removes elements from the array. So slice, what does slice do? Slice returns a new array containing a portion of the original array. Actually, let me use this as a better example. Okay, so what I am doing with this is I'm saying that anything between the first element and before the third one I want to keep. Okay, everything else just remove that, just remove it. For example, if I ended up adding apple, we'll see that it's still removed, but to consider it like this is the first index and the third is this one. Okay, so what's starting from the first and excluding everything at and from the third is not going to be added. Everything in between the first and second is going to be added. Okay, if I change this to 4, okay, now you can see we have grapes, banana, and mango, which is the first starting position. I want everything that starts from here. Okay, and then the fourth is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want everything that starts from here to be excluded. Okay, that's what slice is doing. It's starting the array from a certain position and excluding everything else from a certain point in the array. Okay, so that's what slice is doing. It's slicing a part of the array and just putting that into a new variable. That's what's happening here. Concat, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, concat basically does is, I'm saying here I want to combine the first array with the second one, and I'm putting that into this new variable, the combination of both of these into this new variable, and I'm just displaying that. As you can see, I'm getting all of these. So that's all concat does. It joins 2 arrays. So let's go to index of. It gets the index of whatever it ends up matching. Okay, so for example, if I say this, it will get this. Okay, it's saying that it's at the third index, but also I want to clarify another thing. Returns the first index at which a given element can be found. Okay, so I have 2 grapes, as you can see, so it should be returning 1 and 4, but it's saying 1 because this is at index 1, and it's gonna get the first index of the word it ends up matching 100%. but it's only going to get the first one. If there is a second string, for example, that has the same value, it will not get the index of that one. So that's how index of works. So includes method, what this does is it just confirms if a certain string number is inside of this array. That's it. And it returns a true or false based on that. If it's false, it means it's not in this array. If it's true, that means it's inside of this array. Okay, so join joins all elements of an array into a string. So what join is doing is saying that every element inside of this array, okay, every element, join that and separate them by adding a comma and a space. And as you can see, every element is joined with a comma and a space. For example, if I change this to a dot, now you can see instead of a comma, it's a dot. Okay, and I can add in anything to separate these, because if you do not add this, right, by default what's going to happen is it's going to just do this, and that it does not look clean. So to make it look clean, you are telling it that join all of these elements and add a comma and a space to separate them. You can also do something like this as well. And if you just want to add a space, see? So that's how join works. It joins every element and turns it into a string. Okay, so reverse is the order of the elements inside of an array. So basically it's apple, banana, and mango. So it'll reverse it into mango, banana, and apple. And that's all this is doing. That's all the reverse method does. So sort. So sort, what that does is sorts your array. Okay, so I'm changing this a little bit. I'm using this array right here. Okay, so as you can see, this is not arranged correctly. To sort the elements of this array, I'm using the dot sort method. Okay, and this changes it, sorts it in ascending order. Okay, and you can just use the dot reverse to reverse this array so that it's like descending. Like this. So it's arranged. It sorts the elements of the array. That's what the dot sort method does. So I hope you like this one. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.